Hi, it's Coffee with Milani, and we're here to interview Brenda Theriault of Creative Squirrel Art. We'll see what all she has. It's an amazing, cute little shop on Sim Settlement, and we get to tour her store today.
In 2015.
Love it.
And that's how I feel, like inside my soul. I'm a free spirit, and I just like to be myself, and for the longest time I haven't really been myself. And as you get older, you discover yourself more, and you get back to who you really are inside. So yeah, I'm out.
How are you doing anyway?
I'm pretty good. Yeah.
It's so great.
But my art is unique. Like, it's more about me and things that I've gone through in the years, and I'm self-taught. I have not gone to school for art.
That's even better.
And this is such a great quote right there. Talent is just pursued interest.
Exactly.
And when I read that, I read it over and over, and I'm thinking, that is so true. People say, oh my God, you have such an artistic talent. But it literally is a pursued interest. Like, I am interested in it, so I work at it and work at it and work at it. And I go on Skillshare and do a few classes on there and just put my own spin on everything. And this was so therapeutic for me, because when I got divorced and I was raising my daughter, she was a teenager, like she was almost 14 when my ex left, and she was going through her own things as well. It was rough, and so that would be therapy for me.
Where are you from?
I'm from Weymouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I grew up and went to Weymouth Consolidated School, which was a school from grade primary to 12. And that's where I went from grade 7 to 12.
So how did all of that, how did you end up in Hubbards? Or why did you pick Hubbards as your community? Because are you thinking of retiring here?
I am retired.
Okay.
Art is what I do. We were living in Lakeside, Joe and I, and we were doing a reno on that property, and that was finished, and it was being sold. So we said, well, we really like this area, and we thought, well, let's look around and see if we can find something to rent in Hubbards. So we found this little house, and we've been here just over a year.
And then you created this little...
And then Joe built this little art studio for me, because I needed my own space, because it's really small in the house that we're renting, and this is my space, and I love it.
I love it too.
Yeah.
Work you've had for a long time.
Yes. A lot of, like, there's some of it I date, like 2016, 2015 maybe. That's when I really started doing work that I felt I could show to the public.
Yes.
So I would say around 2016. And I have done some craft shows and art shows, like just local, like in Halifax area. And I've done the Halifax Farmers Market. But years ago, I used to do a lot of toll painting and woodworking art. And we would, a girlfriend of mine, we would do shows like in Moncton, and we've done Acadia University, that kind of thing.
So, I mean, calligraphy, it's very popular now. I mean, in Asia, it's very popular, and then I noticed it was coming back, and now it's like full on. So
but it's a loose calligraphy. It's a modern calligraphy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get started? Like, I mean, I have the worst penmanship.
I've always had good penmanship. In school, everyone always would say, oh my God, your writing is so nice. But it's just a natural thing for me. And letters and making art from letters is I find very interesting. So like that one there, Cast No Stones.
Yes.
Like it's just making art from the actual letter.
Yeah.
So the letter itself is art. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's so detailed.
It's fun. Like,
and I see what you're talking about, like the therapy.
Yes.
Behind it, because this is very like mandala.
Yes.
You know how? Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
For sure.
It's like the repetitive thing
Mm-hmm.
that. Yes, meditative.
And like my motorcycle days, like you'll see some motorcycle art, because that was when I was riding, and I can't ride anymore because of losing, the balance in my left ear. But there are some pieces that are related to riding a motorcycle, and it's just, when I look back at all my art, it's like I know what I was going through at that time, and yeah, it's almost like a journal.
Yes.
The little wine bags, they're little alcohol bags, or reusable canvas bottle tote bags, as someone said they were. So I hand paint all of them, and they each have their own little charm, and I try to put little quotes on them that pertain to Nova Scotia, and this one's a funny one, Nova Scotian love potion.
I love that.
Yeah. Moon Mist ice cream. Moon Mist is a Nova Scotian ice cream.
Yes.
And it's funny because a young lady in Newfoundland has her own little bakery, and she's a makeup artist and other things that she's involved in, and Moon Mist is her favorite ice cream, and they were able to get it in Newfoundland.
Oh.
Yeah, and she saw me on Instagram, and she ordered 25 of those cards to put in her little shop.
That's perfect.
So, yeah.
That's so
it was funny. And I do little notebooks, and so notebooks and little magnets and bookmarks are all one of a kind. So they're not printed or anything; they're all one of a kind. So if you buy it, you're the only one that has it.
Yes,
so
I love
yeah,
that.
And then hand do each one of them instead of having them printed. You know how people get all their invitations printed, but to have them all hand addressed, the envelopes or the card itself all hand done, I think that's a nice little touch.
That is a nice touch. Yeah. I love that too. You do custom design as
I
well.
do. I have done some custom work for people. Military base that was over in Dartmouth, Shannon Park in Wallace Heights. Before that was actually torn down, I had a lady come to me, and she picked out certain buildings that were important to all of them when they were children. Like these are adults that grew up there on that military base, and they were doing a reunion, so they wanted to have a sketch done of certain buildings that were memorable to them. So I went there, took a lot of photos of these buildings, and then I put something together for them, and it was a Shannon Park, Wallace Heights reunion. So I did that print for them, and she got it, printed so they could sell the prints.
Oh,
and then I got a royalty from all the prints that they sold.
Oh, yeah. I love that. That's really great.
So I did that for them, and I've done people's wedding vows, where they have them hanging in their bedroom. So I hand lettered all their wedding vows that were their own, not something from a book, their own wedding vows. So it's more intimate, and they have it hanging in their bedroom. So they love that. And I've done, a big wedding sign that says, welcome to Anthony and Kayla's wedding, or whatever their names were. I can't remember now. It was a while ago. But yeah, I've done some wedding things, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I've done people's last names, like I did Sullivan, for instance. So I'd hand letter Sullivan, and then in the background of it would be the crest, but it would be like in pencil and really faded. So everything I do is hand done. I don't put it into a program. I'm just old school. I don't put it into a program and digitize it and clean it up, or it's just all hand done. The only thing I ever use really is like a ruler, just to keep my lines where my lines are. Self-taught. It's all about pen and pencil and paper, and just do it all by hand. Or a lady at Nova Scotia Power for all of her staff, and I used to work at Nova Scotia Power, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
You've had many careers.
I've had many careers, and I have done people's last names and put the crest in the background, and I've done a lot of custom work, and I don't mind that. because it has a deadline, and that I'm forced to do it.
Exactly.
But I do, a lot of my work is my own creativity and just being me.
Just being you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Brenda.
Thank you so much for coming.
So how can we find you, Brenda?
Actually, I'm at 874 Highway 3 in Sim Settlement, which is just up the road from Hubbards. So that's where I am. It's an easy, take the 103, take exit 6, turn left, and then turn right at the stop sign, and you'll come to me, my little shop.
And do you have a Facebook page?
I don't have a Facebook page, but I'm on Instagram at Creative Squirrel Art.
Perfect. And your phone number?
902-830-0238.
Perfect. And they can just...
They can email me as well,
Okay.
because that's a new email, so I couldn't remember it.
Yeah. I'll put it on the caption.
Yeah.
Design album covers for musicians.
Yes.
Because music is a huge part of my life, and when I look at a lot of the album covers, how cool and funky some of them are, and I would just love to do that. Like to have someone approach me and say, "Can you design me an album cover?" I was like, yes. So it's like the fish eating the boat instead of the boat.
The other way around? Yeah. Oh my god.
And I named the boat Karma.
That's perfect. I love it.
So that's color pencil, actually.
I love them. They're so whimsical.
Yeah. I like music.
You're whimsy. Yeah, that's more that's what I would gravitate
See the
to.
little squirrel?
Yeah.
I was just sitting on the back deck and I looked up at the trees and I was like, I'm going to draw those trees. This is a popular one. I have to get more prints of that one. So that's my quote. I do write poetry too. And I wrote that poem. Wood. From a tree, and I wrote that poem.
Can you read it out loud? Because I can't.
It says, "The tree. I sit in wonderment, my back leaning on this tree, thinking of how a fragile, tiny seed started it all, and of how homes, ships, and bridges came to be. How it grows and grows without a sound into something we simply cannot live without. Yet we yell timber as they fall to the ground. It asks nothing of us, does not judge us, protects us, and just keeps growing in silence year after year to provide for us. I sit in wonderment at its strength and beauty, thinking if it enjoys my company."
Aw, that's lovely, Brenda.
Thanks.